What is up, my people? Welcome to another one. Today we're gonna talk about fighting games again, but uh, but I want to talk about what makes a fighting game successful, at least in today's era, in today's year, 2026, and what's required, in my personal opinion, of a fighting game for it to be successful. Okay. Also, I want to talk about some of the complaints about fighting games. Some of the complaints to me personally doesn't make sense. And a lot of people that are complaining, they're just complaining just for the sake of complaining and for gathering like followers. Like one of the main things that Americans and just people in the West love to do is complain. Mainly Americans, and they love to hear other people complain. And those are the type of the videos that usually gather the most views. It's just people talking down on anything. It's harder to tell people what you love and to tell people what you appreciate and to tell people what games are good or to tell people what you love. Even to come out and say, "Oh, I love this person" or whatever. This is my girlfriend. They're like, "Oh, she's fat," "Oh, she's ugly." "Oh, you could do way better." Some shit like that. It's always something negative. So what I'm trying to say is it's very easy, guys, to get online and just talk shit. And that's probably what's going to make you the most money in today's era. It's just being negative. So, but that's not what I'm going to do here. I am going to, state my opinion on some things and give my advice on what I think makes a good fighting game. Um, and it's nothing new, man. It's I think most of the FGC agrees with me because I've been hearing them say the same things that I agree with. Um, and actually be against things that I would be against as well. Like just the other day, I heard one of the developers for Tekken say that they can't keep making games for just the casuals because if not, you're gonna just have a glorified what is it? A glorified party game. But the thing is, it's like there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance in between those two things because first of all, it's not just the casuals that are complaining about Tekken. Okay, the professionals they'll find a way, but they're not happy either. You know what I mean? Like most of the time, especially in the FGC, and that's what I like about it is there's a very good connection between casuals and professionals. There's not that big of a disconnect because at the end of the day, it is a game, and that's the thing that a lot of these developers and a lot of these companies forget. Or the executives behind the scenes. What they forget is that this is a game, okay, and all of the sports that make a lot of money right now, like soccer, boxing. Maybe boxing not so much because boxing is a little bit more serious. It's a game, but you can't really play it. Uh, but like for example, basketball, soccer, baseball, all of these things were primarily at the beginning when a kid starts playing they're doing it for fun. They're not. Um, at least from what I remember, we're not. What I remember, we're not doing it because we want to be a professional one day. That comes after your people see you and you're like, man, you're good, dude. You're really good. You should go pro, and that's when that kind of hits you. Maybe your dad tells you, you should be pro, but it's never like from my experience, it's never like a natural thing to where it's like, yeah, I want to grow up and be a professional or whatever. It's fun first, so that's the primary thing is to have fun, and And that's what should be happening in a game, and it shouldn't be about the mechanics or how much things you got to worry about, especially in a fighting game. A fighting game has to be simplistic yet engaging somehow. You know, I think the other day I saw some people playing a game with rocks. I think it was magnetic rocks or something like that. Oh no, no, it wasn't. That was another game. But yeah, I like simple games like that. For example, Tetris. I think video game developers could learn a lot from a game like Tetris and from a game like just away from video games um I forget. I don't even know the name of the game that they were these kids were playing. It was two females. They were playing a game with these rocks, um, and it was very interesting. It was very fun, and I was actually into watching it because I understood it immediately. It was kind of like checkers, but it was with rocks, and it was very engaging. It's very simple too. It was just kind of like checkers. And then I've seen other games as well, like board games, but just with magnetic. I don't know if you guys seen this video where there's like magnetic rocks that you have to place inside of a rope or whatever. And what I'm trying to say, the reason I'm mentioning these very simple games is because these games are very interesting to watch, and it seems like they would be fun to participate in. You get what I'm saying? I remember one time I was playing with my sister. It's a game where you have to shoot. You have to grab a kind of like a puck, like a hockey puck or a checkers a chip, and pull back on it, right? And pull back on it, and then let it go, and then score on your opponent. And she was beating the shit out of me, but I was so invested. I wanted to beat her at least once. And she's just really good at that game. I think she's had experience in it or something. And every shot was going in, and mine was not. I got crazy about it. I was yelling at her and telling her that she wasn't human, and so it was kind of weird. But anyways, let me move real quick because there's some vultures around me. Is that how you say it? Vultures? Vultures around me. I don't want there to be like a dead whatever around me, and then I get blamed for it. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is if there was 3 points, my number 3, working our way up to number 1, my number 3 would be keep the fighting game simple but engaging. Okay, we don't need all of these different bars, like a stamina bar and a superpower bar, or a health. Well, we do need a health bar, but and then you start putting like a freaking a protein bar. It's like what are we doing? Like how many bars do we need, right? Or different types of like things to look out for. We don't need all that. Like, and then I feel like yes, it's good to have 3 supers. That's fine if you're gonna have 3 supers, and if you have more than that, that's cool too, right? But I think that simplicity is key, right? And then you could have those characters that are like complex for the complex minded people. Me personally, I am a bit on the brawler side. Actually, the last video I made, I talked about that I was that I couldn't connect too much to someone like Manon because she was too girly or whatever. And I accidentally said that I was more of an Ed guy, but I really meant I was more of an Alex guy. But yeah, my friend told me about it. I was like, oh, I didn't know you like Ed. And then I was like, Ed? What do you mean? Yeah, you said you were more of an Ed guy. I was like, oh no, I meant Alex. But yeah, I need to. The reason I make these videos a lot is because I need to get better at speaking. I kind of suck at that, and I have to get better at it. And I think these videos actually help me, work on my speech and work on how I talk. And I think I am getting better at it. But the thing is, if I stop making the videos or if I stop, exercising that, I kind of lose it really fast. So, um, but that would be my first recommendation. Keep it simple and use things like checkers as an example, or things like Tetris. These games are very simple, but if you notice, they stand the test of time, and they're some of the most popular games in the world. They're worldwide famous, and people still play them to today. So that's what you want to create. You want to create something simple but engaging. And so that would be my first advice. My second advice would be characters. Okay. Um, the characters are really the lifeblood to a fighting game. Okay, you need characters. If you launch a game and you only have four characters, right? That's gonna kind of suck. That's gonna suck. Okay, you at least minimum need 17, 18 characters, maybe 19. If you got 20, you're golden, right? The more the merrier. And also you need to tackle the the basics. Basically, you need a grappler. You need the two spectrums are grapplers and what's the other ones? The rush downs. Okay, these are the two. I guess you could say the two opposites spectrums, and then at the top of the triangle you have a zoner, and then everything else falls in between those, right? And it could be a combination of those three. So if you got a rush down slash in the middle of rush down and a zoner, you're gonna get yourself a Shoto, right? Or a will rounder or all rounder, whatever you call them. If you got yourself a in between a rush down and a grappler, you got someone like Alex or not necessarily Alex, like Makoto, so somewhere around there, somebody that has good strikes, um, but could also grapple, something in between. Grapplers, of course, Zangief is the best example, right? But my point is, you need all of these. You need to scratch every itch, because that's what you're doing. You're giving the grappler a good grappler, right? You're giving a rush down character, what they want. Don't forget the guys who like Rekkas, right? Those guys are going to be looking for their Rekka guy, right? If you don't have them, you're going to lose that guy. You're going to lose that demographic of people that love that type of character. And then you also have to play to those types of people. So what are those types of people like? For example, wrestling, grappler guys, they love wrestling. Most of them come from a niche of people that love wrestling, professional wrestling, right? And some of them are women, like younger women, and that's for another reason. But just give them the muscles, man. Give them the muscles. They want to see the muscles. All right, and so that goes into character design, right, as well. But I think it's the same thing. It's the same point. You have to give them what they want. Like me, usually I tend to like dudes, like well, not like that. Paused. I mean, like like in a sense of like characters, right? I tend to like dude types, like Terry Bogard, Alex, Who else? DJ is kind of like his attitude's pretty cool, whatever. I just didn't really quite get into his gameplay so much. But like that type of kind of like regular, it could be a regular guy, could be a construction worker, could be a mechanic, and but he's actually a fighter. That's the kind of guy that I kind of choose a lot. And some wrestlers too, depending on who they are. So something between a grappler wrestler. So that's why Alex is so perfect for me, because like as far as his character design and who he is, except for the cousin thing, um, he's right in line to he falls right in line to what I like in a fighting game character. Um, but for example, or a martial arts guy. I also like martial arts type characters like Ryu, Ken, Fei Long, who I hope they bring back in season 4. So everybody, cross your fingers, please. Bring back Fei Long with his Rekka. We need that Rekka. Please, God, please. Because the thing is, they said that they can't bring Fei Long back because some kind of copyright thing with the whole Bruce Lee family or whatever. And it's like, bro, like, come on, bro. You can't take away Fei Long from us, dude. You can't. Just listen. And the thing is, Street Fighter could redesign him and make him look totally different and be like, oh, this is just Fei Long. This was never Bruce Lee. You see what I mean? So if they do that, that's fine, bro. I'm totally down with them turning him into Jackie Chan or something. Um, I just need Fei Long, dude. I need Fei Long back right now, because right now I got Alex, right? I got Alex. Alex is one of my favorite characters from back from Third Strike, and then in Street Fighter 5 I didn't like him so much, but in Third Strike I did play him a lot. My second favorite character ever, and in Third Strike, was Yang, or fuck, what's his name? The guy with the spiky hair. I always get confused with the two brothers, right? But it's the guy that fights like his dad. And by the way, in so I have a long line of that same character type of style, right? So it's like you got Fei Long. I used to play Fei Long. Fei Long in Street Fighter 2, right? And then when we go to Alpha, I would play Gen. Okay, Gen, and then in Third Strike, I would main Yoon, right? So you see, they're kind of the same character if you think about it. It's the same character. You have kind of like records. The only difference is that Gen he had stances, right? That he will go into. But they had the Rekkas, in there. It's kind of like the same DNA that I'm trying to tell you. It's like the same DNA between these guys. So if they bring back Fei Long, or one of the brothers, or both of the brothers, right? The Lee brothers, bro, I'm golden, dude. I don't need anybody else. I don't need anybody else, bro. In fact, I would say Capcom, don't even, just close the doors, forget about everybody else. Nah, just man. Now everybody needs their characters, right? But that's very important. It's the lifeblood of the game. You need to put out more characters, the more the merrier. And I understand that at the beginning you can't do that, but that's why I said, if it's a 1v1, it's okay if you put out 17, 18 characters, maybe 20. Okay, that's usually what it is, by the way. I hear people complain about, oh, there's only 17 characters. That's always been that way. Okay, so if you haven't played fighting games for a long time, then I understand. If it's a 1v1, that's the case. It's usually 20 and below characters. And then the DLCs, they start coming in, and you start getting more, or unlockable characters or whatever. Now, if it's a 2v2 or 3v3, or, for example, the way Tokon has it, where it's a 4v4, then that means you need way more. Okay, you need way more, because, and that's what I think was the main problem with Tokon. It's like, if it's a 4v4, you need minimum 40 characters. Okay, and I know it might sound like a nightmare to a lot of the developers or the what's it called, the associates or whatever. But hey, man, you got to do it because you're the one that said you wanted to do 4v4. You know, so if you want to do a 4v4, you have to give them extra. You have to give them 40 characters now. That would be ideal. I know it sounds impossible, but I didn't say 4v4. You did. Uh, nobody told you. Nobody told you to say 4v4. In fact, a lot of the people that know about gaming, they were saying, "Don't do it, don't do it." But because you lose like the variety of things that you could choose in with a 4v4. Um, but yeah, that's my number two advice, and my number one advice would be what we were talking about at the beginning, which was the balance of making the game for a casual or for a professional. And I left it at number one. I kind of skipped it for a little bit because I wanted to make it my number one point, which is you have to have a balance. But just remember that professionals are 1% of the 1%. Okay, there are very few of the FGC is professionals. Most fighting game fans are casuals. Okay, and or people that play fighting games but don't necessarily want to go pro or think about it as a competitive um, plan that they're going to do in the future or whatever. So you got to keep that in mind, and you got to understand that if you're making a game for a very small percentage of people, you're throwing a lot of people out the window. That number one, that's money you're losing, right? Number two, um, you're just wasting your time because pros are gonna find a way, bro. Professionals, they're a special breed of people that find a way to win regardless of what you give them. Now they're gonna complain, they're gonna talk shit about the game for sure, but they'll find a way. I've seen some shit, bro, where it's like, how the fuck are you doing what you're doing right now? That's not how we built the game, and that's because these guys, their brains just work differently, and they just find the loop immediately. It's like, how are you still hitting me right now? You know what I mean? So listen, don't worry about the pros. The pros will find a way, dude. Trust me. The professionals have been there for so long in the FGC that they're not gonna leave, bro. They're not gonna leave. You think Blas is gonna leave if you change something from the game? Look at the guy. He doesn't even comb his hair. He's not gonna leave, bro. He's in it for the long run. And if you change shit, look what happened when they changed Ryu for him. It was like, it's too easy. He went to Sagat. Literally, you made Ryu OP in the last patch. And what did Blas do? He left Ryu. He was like, it's too easy. I'm moving to Sagat. Right? So trust me. Don't worry about, in my opinion, you don't need to worry about the professionals. The professionals are always going to be there. But the thing is, I hear the devs talk about it all the time and talk about like for example, the 2XKO, which I haven't heard anything about. It's a free to play game, and it's not doing too well. In my opinion, the reason it's not doing too well is because I kind of isolated their niche community. So in order for you to make a good fighting game, you have to target a certain audience and bring him to the table. And it used to be a very 90s type of mentality that everybody wanted their own um, either fighting game or their own beat 'em up. The Simpsons had a beat 'em up. The X Men had a beat 'em up. Um, the Avengers had a beat 'em up game. So it's like if you're popular, you either had a pinball machine game or a beat 'em up game, right? So that was kind of like the thing that made you legit in the 90s. And the trick was to bring those people to the table, bring those fans of The Simpsons, bring them to the fighting game community. I mean the beat 'em up community or the pinball community, and try to collect these items or play this game and bring that money to the table. Okay, so you don't want to lose those people, right? And the thing that Tekken is doing and that 2XKO did was they kind of isolated those people, the people that liked the original. What's the name of the original? It's an Arxis game. It's called fuck, I forgot. But I think it's like an RPG game, and they were bringing those characters to the fighting game community. But they specifically said, and I remember this clearly, what they said: I don't want this game to be for we want this game to be specifically for the FGC. That's what they said, and specifically for the fighting game lover. And then, so in my opinion, they were kind of saying we don't want it to be for the people from the old game. I'm trying to remember the name of the game, but it also has like a TV show on Netflix. But my point is you isolated those people. You're supposed to bring those people to the table. You're supposed to bring them and unite them with the FGC so that they could create a new community for your particular fighting game. You know what I mean? Because you best believe that there is a community for the Street Fighter, the game of Street Fighter, and there's another community for the Tekken people, and there's another ones. They're different, bro. They're all different. Yes, some of them play different. Like if you're a fighting game fan, you play all of them, right? If you're a fan of fighting games, you play all of them, or you kind of switch around. But for the most part, if you like Street Fighter, you're gonna stick to Street Fighter. You're just gonna die with Street Fighter. If you like Tekken, bro, you're just gonna stay with Tekken, and you're probably not gonna like Street Fighter too much. You see what I mean? So I feel like 2XKO isolated themselves from the community that made them, that made those characters. That's just my opinion. Just the way they talked at the beginning of creating this game, the way they were saying, "Oh, we want this to be strictly FGC." We don't care about the. They didn't say it exactly like that, but they kind of did say it. You know, and they were the main people that were trying to support the game. But I feel like when they said that, I feel like some of them felt some type of way, and and I feel like they went further than that, and they try to make it for the pros, right? And you can't do that, bro. Especially if you got a free to play game where you want people to engage your game and buy things from it. The other mistake that they did is the character. There wasn't that many characters in there, right? So it's hard. Like, if you're gonna have a free to play game, you have to put all of these things that I told you in there, and then you have to have costumes, and then you have to have things to do outside of the online gameplay. Like, I feel like Street Fighter 6 is a good example of how to keep people engaged even after the online gameplay. And I know that this is taboo to think about in Japan, but if Street Fighter was a free to play game, it would do extremely well. If Street Fighter was a free to play game, the only thing that they need to do really to make this a free to play game and for it to function as a free to play game better is to add more colors, to add more skins, and to add just more things for the avatar and more things to do, or more more like raids or whatever. Like, you know how you do the giant attacks? Make those, but in a city. Like, for example, and this is my idea that I would give Street Fighter right now. I would say, like, make it to where people could join in a community in World Tour and go attack like Akuma. Akuma, maybe he's destroying like the city or whatever. He turned into a Caillou or something, and we have to all unite to try and beat this giant Akuma or whatever. That, and I know it's not even a fighting game anymore, but if you do something like that, bro, the amount of people that would come to the table is crazy. you know, you add that to adding more skins, adding more colors, adding more things for your character to hold in their hands, like a sword or a bat, or a chair. If I could hold this chair and hit people over the head with it, you know what I would pay for that, bro? You know what I mean? It's like shit, like little shit like that in a game, because that's what you got to remember. It's a game, and you want people to have fun in the game. So if I can hit people over the head with a chair in one of my supers, bro, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pay money for that. Um, so so yeah, that's my advice to Street Fighter. Excuse me. That's my advice to Street Fighter. It's like, and I know what they're saying. They're right now they're saying that it's too much to make these costumes and to make these colors. It costs too much or something, like, or not necessarily. It's they don't have enough people. Well, you need to hire more people. You need to hire more people, and you need to do it because people already love your game, and there's already people coming to the table. What you want to do is keep those people, and then you want to make more products for them to spend money on your shit. Um, but that is gonna be it for today, guys. Those that's my advice, and it doesn't really differ from a lot of the advice that's out there already. Um, and as you can see, I love Street Fighter. I spend a lot of time playing Street Fighter, and but I think that it could be better. And maybe you're thinking, oh, it's never enough. No, listen. When it comes to games, you have to keep moving forward. Okay, you have to keep reinventing yourself. Like, remember, first there was checkers, and I'm pretty sure after that came chess, or maybe it was chess first and then checkers. All right, and then they started making more and more and more and more different types of games, different ideas of how to play board games. It's never stagnant, right? So you have to keep reinventing yourself. So I'm hoping, and this is my hope for Street Fighter 6, is that in season 4, after we get Ingrid or whatever, we get an expansion for World Tour, and we get like, just more things, more skins, more colors. Um, Maybe we could get like a little motorcycle to drive around in World Tour or something, like a little car or a motorcycle. That would be cool. Or a flying car. Maybe we could fly like E Honda does. But yeah, we need maybe two more cities. Like a jungle city. We need something in the snow. We don't have a snow place. But we have like a hood type of Asian place, and we have an American city type of place. But we don't have like a jungle city or a snow city, like somewhere where it's snowing a lot. I don't know. It's just an idea. Maybe they could use it or whatever. Maybe we could go to Southtown. Have like a Southtown, city or whatever. Um, well, yeah, because we do have like a new, like, because Metro City is kind of like New York, or kind of like the East Coast. So we need something for the West Coast, and we need something for the South. Maybe season 4 we could get like a more southern state, and then for the Asian place maybe we could get like something I don't know, like maybe something more European, maybe, I don't know. It's just an idea, but that's what I hope happens. And as far as characters, I have wish characters, but we'll talk about that in another video. But that's gonna be it for today, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.
That's great. Oh, yeah. 12-1. Fight!
Ah. What? Now then.
12-1. Fight!